Blessings, blessings, and grand risings, everyone. Welcome, welcome to Grace in the Morning. Let's put that on rewind for the people in the back that didn't hear as we get our week started. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome, welcome. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, and I'm here 3 days a week. I put the extra three because sometimes I'll be here a little bit more. We were together this weekend where we were updated about another horrific killing that happened in Minneapolis, highlighting Mr. Alex Pretty, that's his name. Love and blessings to him. I was supposed to come back yesterday, was having some technical issues, and I think it was because of my vibrations. I got a little frustrated after I got off the live with you guys. Not too bad, but I was just really wound up because of, some of the things that I have seen and the fact that he was a nurse. So I'm back today with a part two where we're going to get a little bit more updates on what has happened in the last 24 hours related to this case. And then we're going to get into two things. One, how the Border Patrol and ICE are being emboldened right now, not only by their continued actions and all of the gaslighting, but also by a few court cases that they have won. And I believe witness intimidation has happened. But let me not just jump the gun, as well as we're going to talk about Second Amendment rights today that's being challenged right in front of our face. So let's watch this clip real quick so we can just get a brief rewind of what happened over the weekend. Thank you for being here with Miss Grace. Please hit the like button.
We have now confirmed that the man who was shot was ICU nurse Alex Pretty, and that is confirmed by his parents. And to his parents, I am so sorry for your loss, regardless of the circumstances. To lose a child is the most horrific thing. But we can now confirm that the victim who was shot in this situation was Alex Pretty, an ICU nurse from Minneapolis, an American citizen, according to Chief Brian O'Hara.
I also want to say one more thing, because it is our duty to tell the truth, however we see it, right? Journalists get painted in many different lights these days. And I'll say this. What Commander Bavino said in his press conference and in the press release was that it appeared, according to DHS, that this man, what was his name?
Alex Pretty,
came there intending to harm officers. We have a picture of him. And the video shows him directing traffic. The next part of the video shows him trying to help a woman who got shoved by an officer and then resisting his own, I guess, detainment, if you will, and being sprayed in the face with pepper spray. The video does not appear to back up that statement.
You have not seen in the angles that you have watched that he seemed to be threatening law enforcement.
And he may have been, I don't know, I have no clue.
Sure,
we don't prove any of that. But what I'm saying, the video shows a man directing traffic, helping a woman, and then sort of resisting his own detainment. That's what it shows.
And now we are seeing this man right here, Alex Pretty. We are told by his parents that he was an ICU nurse. We don't know where he was an ICU nurse, but he is a Minneapolis resident.
All right, if you're just joining us now, and if you're following along, we wanted to let you know that there was a shooting in the city of Minneapolis today.
All right. I tried to let it go so I won't be emotional because I kept hearing me kind of holding myself because I see his face and I see something so beautiful as a person. So my heart goes out to him because I have worked with several male ICU nurses who were amazing, intelligent, smart, open, ready to work with anybody. They were patient forward. And I don't care, even if I don't know him, that's how I feel he was. So I got more clarification than you guys do too, because yesterday I was trying to figure out what was he doing in traffic, and he was actually directing traffic. So that was a good thing, because if they were on the side of the road accosting somebody who they were trying to arrest, and he's literally telling traffic to go around or whatever may be the situation. Now it makes a little bit more sense where he was at, which looks like 100 feet away. And then you see the interaction with the young lady and the Border Patrol. That's my clarification, not ICE. The Border Patrol, where the Border Patrol agent looks like he accosted her. I don't know what she said to make him upset, and that's kind of where we were at. Now, we're going to watch this clip real quick of my favorite man of the hour. You know, y'all know I can't stand this man.
Violence. And there's no evidence, unless you have it, and we'd love to see it if there is, that he was intending to massacre law enforcement, other than the fact that he was there and he had a gun lawfully.
He meant to be there beforehand. Again, Dana, he came there beforehand.
How do you know that?
For a reason.
How do you know that?
Because he was there.
But all he was doing was filming and documenting it, which is legal. He was carrying a gun, which in Minneapolis.
I didn't say it wasn't. And I didn't say it wasn't legal.
But what did he do that was illegal?
Assault federal law enforcement.
So we already got Bavino just lying through his teeth like he did before. And that's what we're going to show you today. The, rewind of him lying about the pepper ball incident and getting hit in the face with a rock that made him actually attack the protesters, that led to partial amount of the excessive force case, because there's another case that actually plays a bigger role. Okay, now let's just get to your comments real quick. Thank you for being here. What happens when you resist law enforcement with a loaded weapon? Well, we saw the video and he did not have it out. He was not walking towards law enforcement. One of the first things we have to do is get the narrative correct. Don't just run with the propaganda. Use your eyes. We are able to hold a gun and have that's why we got gun permits. That's why we have the Second Amendment. So that is kind of like propaganda. So we should be able to have a gun. And exactly what happened when we're in the midst of law enforcement, they have the right to take the gun, in which the guy with the gray hoodie took the gun, or the gray fleece took the gun and ran. So that did happen. And then shortly after that, seconds after that, shots were fired. Now, this is exactly what's happening. If people don't understand what's happening, this is a wake-up call to my Gentiles. Let's go, because we're going to have to see past what you thought you had.
That's the cost.
Let's hold up.
We're all acting so shocked that
let's start this again. One more time. Hold on. This is my other page, y'all. Give me 1 second.
Be a good white person and put your body in between them trying to kidnap a brown person or harm a black person. When you do that, you lose your proximity to whiteness and you lose the benefits that come along with it. That's the cost. We're all acting so shocked that they murdered a white woman. Well, see, she wasn't a good white. She was out there advocating for brown people, so she lost her proximity to whiteness. This is the work of dismantling white supremacy. This is what it's going to cost. It's time for some radical acceptance. Because they've been out there killing black and brown people for hundreds of years. And people who looked like me were having picnics under black bodies as they blew in the breeze after they'd been lynched.
Thank you.
And then 6 years ago, when they kneeled on George Floyd's neck, we all put a black picture in our Instagram.
Let's wake up.
Acting as if that were enough. In order to dismantle white supremacy,
so
we have
she
to
racist.
be willing.
So she's racist. Y'all feelings be so hurt when your own, even when your own people tell you the truth, it's racist. She's telling you that this is a wake-up call, that they don't care about you. Now that you have aligned with the others and the people who are brown, guess what? You mean nothing. So I was letting her play so she could just really reiterate what I was telling you guys. Once you open your eyes and you stop acting like you are of the devil, Esau, father, and you remember that you're the body of Christ, part of Shem, this is what happens to you. This is what happens to you when you realize you are a human, and that they would trade on you too. So there's no race baiting here, but yeah, we're going to talk about race and everything. Get your feelings out of your butt, okay? Because we lived under Jim Crow, bitch.
To lose the benefits of whiteness means they kill us too. That's what that means. And it's time for some radical acceptance about that, guys. That's what it's going to take to dismantle white supremacy, is losing the benefits of the system.
That's what's happening.
So we can't be so shocked.
And then it's so crazy because Mega, you lost a lot of benefits of the system before this even happened, which was your food stamps, which was your Medicaid, your health insurance. Some of you guys are really suffering. That's why we have Miss Marjorie Taylor, who y'all can't stand. Now y'all calling her a hillbilly retarded when she represented y'all. She literally jumped ship because people insurance premiums was going through the roof in her own family and they were losing coverage. That was one of her tips, but that was the turning point for her. What's going to be the turning point for you? Was when when the gun is in your face, because we're going to talk about law here too as well before we get to this video. Oh, let's play this video real quick. Then we're going to talk about the Second Amendment rights that's going to be taken away from every single person because they're doing door to door. Please hit the like button because what we share here is facts, not fiction. I try not to get emotional. I usually get emotional when I see things that is basically of the devil. Usually what I'm saying, when we're hurting each other. That's the only time you're really going to get emotions out of me. Or you got Esau in my comments just getting too crazy. And then I got to clap back at you guys. Let's watch this real quick before we actually continue to use our critical thinking skills and talk about this Supreme Court case that I want to make you guys aware about. Hit the like button. Let's go. Let's watch this real quick. Thank you for being here this morning. Watch a few videos, and then we're going to get to this court case.
Have not said so, but there was no riot, and we never saw Alex Preddy with a weapon in his hand, which is how DHS Secretary Noem described him approaching officers. There is not a single video showing that. What we do see
the lies for me
is Alex Preddy holding us.
It's the lies for me. You can sit here and just watch Noam, the lady in red, the devil in red, just make up a whole scenario and then watch the video and still say this man deserved to die. He shouldn't have been there. Right.
Cell phone, not a gun. We do know he had a gun on him, but he also had a legal permit to carry. So if the videos that we have all seen and the community has all seen are the only pieces of evidence that DHS has, and they are not saying anything different, only saying that he did these things like holding a gun or approaching with a gun, it's just not true.
All right. All right.
I'm going to call a spade a spade.
Let's get to it now. She's called a spade a spade. Now, before we get to what the other people are saying about this shooting, as far as Minneapolis representative and other people, let's just, because I want to put this at the right time where we have people starting to come in. Let's make it make sense. I need you guys to look this up. The smart people in the front that keep being a little crazy in my comments, I'm not going to pay no mind to you. But let's listen to this. As of January 2026, the most significant recent Supreme Court case implement police entering homes in the unanimous. Everybody said yes. Unanimous ruling of Case versus Montana. Remember this name? Case versus Montana, January 14th, a couple of days ago, which affirms that police may enter a home without a warrant if they have any objectable, reasonable bias or basis, meaning that they see something a little bit funny, to believe that the occupant is seriously injured or in immediate danger and or a threat. This decision strengthened police authority to enter the home during emergencies, which may heighten scrutiny for gun owners in or near domestic disputes or situations perceived to be as emergency by law enforcement. And guess what? They're just hiring anybody. And who's planning to come door to door? Who's been getting away with killing Americans? Let's just move forward. Let's just talk about it, okay, a little bit. Key implementations of this gun carrying situation, it will probably heighten warrantless entry to homes. So this is case versus Montana. Basically broadens the ability of police to entering homes without warrant, reinforcing the emergency aid expectation to the Fourth Amendment. Let's go. Impact on home defense. Remember, we have a castle doctrine in many carry states that you can protect yourself. Does that make sense? It says gun owners should be aware that if police are called to the home due to reports of violence or threat, they can't enter your home without a warrant. There's more cases that's coming up that we're going to pay attention to, but let's go to the people in the front and the back that know what we're doing here and making it make sense. They're taking our rights away through courts, through their actions, and through what we're doing as protesting. Last thing we're going to highlight here, future gun laws on private property. This is another case that's coming up right now. Hold on one second. Let's hide this user real quick because I think I gave you a chance, but we don't want no spamming in the crowd. Now, okay, future gun laws. Now, this is the second case we want to consider. While case versus Montana focus on emergency entry, the court is also actively considering Woodford. Let's look this up. Woodford versus Lopez, arguing this January, so we'll look into that, which focus on whether states can ban carrying guns on private property. So the places that have open carry or concealed carry, right to carry, these particular states are trying to implement restrictions on where you can bring your gun. So you can't bring it in public places, but now they're trying to say you can't bring it in private places without having explicit owner's consent. What do explicit mean? By writing or something? Let's make it make sense while all of this is going on, putting the pieces together. Let's see what they have to say over here. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for not spamming the live, because we're here trying to just, expand the horizons.
Or impeached.
Hold on one
And
second.
Gregory Bovino, who has helped lead and
Let's see what's
defend
going
and
on.
escalate these operations, should also be fired.
Fired. Sorry. Let's go.
It's a shame I have to say this in America, but no one is above the law.
Thank you.
No one.
Let's go. Let's play it one more time because we missed the first part.
Kristi Noem has forfeited her right to lead.
Lady in
And
red.
I'm calling on her to resign as Secretary of Homeland Security, or Donald Trump to do the right thing and just fire her. And if not, she must be removed or impeached. And Gregory Bovino, who has helped lead and defend and escalate these operations, should also be fired.
Thank you. Thank you, baby. I love you.
It's a shame I have to say this in America, but no one is above the law. No one.
Thank you. And we're going to move on. Add one more person to that list, Pam Bondi. Now I got my eyes on the second lady in red. Okay, now we have our vice president, Mr. Assassin, allegedly had something retarded to say. So we're going to watch this article. It came through to, we're going to listen to the article. Y'all can look at it real quick, but I don't want no pop-ups to come up on you guys. Let me hit y'all with what he has to say. The assassin. He said something pretty stupid. Vince gave deranged excuse for agents killing ICU nurse. So they don't care about us. And it's so crazy because just the other day I put a reel up that, a nurse was talking because we were talking about healthcare and how they don't care about us. And I kept saying, they don't care about us. They don't care about us. You know what I'm saying? And they don't. This is what's going on. So here we go. J.Z. Vance has suggested that the Minnesota officials investigating the killer of ICU nurse is an unhinged defense of Trump administration deportation operation. So he said them looking into this is going against a deportation operation. The 41-year-old vice president went on a long-winded dialogue Sunday in an attempt to rationalized the shooting of Mr. Alex, 37-year-old, by multiple mass border agents on Saturday. Okay, yeah, let's see what else this retard has to say. Do y'all have this clip? He claimed on X, because I don't watch X. I'm not on X, you know why? Because X is racist. Yo, that place, you could say anything racist you want to say. Yeah, baby, it ain't for the blacks. I don't be on there not at 1 second. So thank you for the news reporting on them. So this was reported on X, okay? Yeah, I stay away. I told you I stay away from places that I'm not wanted or, I'm not respected. Unlike some of the people in the back that come here and they don't want to be here. It's just stupid. So he claimed on X that local officials created the chaos so that they can gain momentum like yesterday, where someone tragically dies and politicians get to grandstanding about the evils of enforcing the Border Patrol and migration actions. Vince tried to cast the federal agent as a victim by recounting a crazy story he claimed to have heard during his trip to Minneapolis last week. Let's read the full post of this retard right quick. There we go. Y'all won't be able to see it because it's not that big, but I'll take a picture and put it in our if it's important. When I was in Minneapolis, I heard a number of crazy stories, but none of them near top this list. It says a couple of off-duty ICE officers and CBP officers were going to dinner in Minneapolis. They were doxxed in their location revealed in a restaurant where a mob had appeared. The officers were locked in the restaurant. I'm sorry, I don't want to laugh. And local police refused to respond to their pleas for help. See, didn't I tell you that they're going against each other? Something is happening, guys. As they've been directed by the local authorities. This is what we're reading. Eventually, their fellow federal agencies came to their aid. This is just a taste of what happened in Minneapolis because the state and the local official refused to cooperate with immigration enforcement. They have created a chaos so they can have momentum like yesterday. So she's saying Mr. Alex death is for momentum. He's saying that Miss Good getting shot in the face by the ICE officers is momentum that is being done by the state. That's why they said this shit was out of pocket. This is beyond gaslighting. This is literally deranged. This not even manipulative. He's just deranged. He's Trump number two. He's Trump baby Trump number two. Okay, the solution is starting everyone. Sorry, I do apologize. It says the solution is staring everyone in the face. I hope authorities in Minneapolis stop this madness. So I don't know what he suggests is for everybody to get down and lay down, but I'm just going to tell you this: the protest in Minneapolis is on 50 compared to what was going on in the south side of Chicago. And I am going to bring this up. Y'all not going to play with me when y'all keep talking about brown people this when they protest. The things that I heard went on, the incitement on both sides. I'm keeping it real. That's why I'm talking to my people too who protesting because this just like what Miss Marjorie Taylor said, who people like, oh, she ain't got no common sense, bitch. She had common sense to represent you for a second. She said that you guys are falling for the propaganda so he can do what? So he can stop the election? So he can call a national emergency? She said y'all falling for the hype. Baby, and I agree. I said that a couple of days ago. So when I get people that look like you to start saying it, I hope it makes sense to you because all we trying to do is save your life and save your time. Because at the end of the day, even if they're not outside too, we still have to prepare for these people coming door to door, coming to your house. Let's just keep it real. Let's just watch this just a little bit because this is the chaos that ICE is creating as well. You see, I'm hitting everybody too. It's the people in ICE. Who the fuck got all these smoke bombs? You making regular streets look like this. This shit is, excuse my language, it's too early in the morning. This is out of pocket. Trump dared to call other countries shithole countries, and guess what? What is looking like? What's this looking like? Iraq, the Gaza Strip.
For what?
Huh? Huh?
All that for what?
For what? This is them. This is ICE that's escalating. That's why we're going to get into the excessive force. And somebody was so happy yesterday, like, yeah, the Border Patrol won the case. No, you didn't win the case legally. It didn't even get to be heard. We're going to get to that because it seems like the judge really wanted to hear that. So y'all understand that we reported it yesterday that the judge blocked Trump administration from destroying or altering evidence in Delhi, Minneapolis shooting. And this is literally what they had to do Saturday, the day it happened. Go right in to try to preserve information because they already know that they're going to alter it, not give it to them. I.e., you remember the car that the Border Patrol officer, he was involved in some type of ramming and he drove the car all the way back home, didn't get it inspected, got it fixed. And when the lawyer to the person who was involved in it tried to get the information, they were not only delayed, but they were made aware that it didn't even go through the chains of investigation. That's why they just did this shit right here. But Mega going to continue to support this and say, this is legal. You know why it's legal? Because you just don't know law. That's why it's legal. Because don't know law. Let's go. Okay. Thank you for being here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. Now, I had, it just took it down. But basically, I was looking at this article, thank you, because it got a whole bunch of X stupid stuff on it. But you get to hear our politicians, because this is how our politicians talk to us, through X. This is how they express themselves, baby. They ain't holding no type of town halls and saying, come on in, this how you do it, this how you handle it. This is on X talking about, I feel like this. I feel like, what the hell we got going on in America? Okay? This is ridiculous. This is what we got right now. So we got Keith O. Berman, I do apologize, Berman, Alexander Cortez, and more call for Tom Walt's response to ICE shooting. And his response was, y'all need to get it together. We'll put down what's his response. I'm about to kind of stroll down because what they did in this article was put a whole bunch of people response on ICE. Hold on, did they block me? They said we can only see this one time. Hold on one second, y'all. They said you could only see this one time until you subscribe. All right, so basically they're calling for, let me just put this in words. They're calling for the Army to go out there to Minneapolis. And at first I was like, what? What the hell? What do they mean sending the Army there? Y'all about to basically make the people hate the Army? But allegedly, from what I heard, and I have the clip and I will put it in our reels, that an Army man was basically saying if they do go out there, people that's in our top services, that they have been trained to protect the citizens, allegedly. They're saying that they're going to protect the citizens from ICE and from them. I'm going to give y'all the clip because the thing just got off of my page because I want to move forward because it's going to be a little long-winded because we got to get into a little bit of this case information and how all these different shooters and situations connected to each other and how that dismantled the excessive force case. Okay, it literally dismantled the excessive force case, but it's okay because I do believe that it was witness intimidation. So Trump DHS has shot at least 12 people during the immigration enforcement operation since September. And we know we're up to 16 right now with 4 deaths. So let me just keep that moving. Now, this is the particular situation that I want you guys to pay attention to. Remember these names. Mr. So the ICE agent fires at a man, and they said, okay, they said Mr. Salvador. I think his name is Mr. Salvador. The gentleman that I told you who was accosted by the police after he dropped his son off, and then they said that he dragged the police. We literally did the same thing in that live where we saw he did not drag the police. You had Trump come out and say he dragged the police. The police had to go to the hospital. Then we saw the other body cam that came up from Status Coop. That if y'all remember this, in Status Coop, in his clip, you see the police officers just standing there talking to each other. You hear the police officer directly say, oh, I'm good. I just got a little scratch on me. Direct contradiction to what they reported and what Trump was saying. So this particular situation is connected as well as the lady situation who got shot 6 times in the chest. That lady. Her main case was the backbone of the excessive force case as well. There was a few cases involved, and let's get to it. So let me just give you a reminder of what happened to Mr. Salvero, I believe that's his name, and how they lied on him and said that they dragged him. We're just going to show you the lie.
Chicago, a blood-stained car marking a deadly flashpoint in America's immigration raids. The Department of Homeland Security saying ICE officers in Franklin Park tried stopping a vehicle driven by 38-year-old Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, but say he refused to follow commands and drove his car at law enforcement officers, dragging one a significant distance.
The lies.
ICE saying that officer, who sustained severe injuries, feared for his life, shooting Villegas Gonzalez, who later died at the hospital. DHS describes the individual as a criminal illegal alien with a history of reckless driving, though a review of Villegas Gonzalez's publicly available records by NBC News found no criminal charges. Records show he pleaded guilty to 4 traffic violations, including speeding, the most recent in 2013.
The most recent in 2013, not 2023.
2 shots.
Yes. An auto shop surveillance camera capturing the
See?
sound of gunshots.
I knew that ICE
They
was
got a
going
lot
to
of
be
different
near the
footage to
area.
this.
This really hits close to home.
It follows weeks of protests against immigration raids in Chicago, which President Trump's dubbed Operation Midway Blitz in his latest crackdown in Democratic-led cities from our nation's capital, and suggesting recently New Orleans could be next, to now this.
We're going to Memphis. Memphis is
That's the next city.
deeply troubled.
The latest stats show violent crime in Memphis this year is down 17%.
Let's stop right here. Thank God we didn't hear anything about Memphis. Did we hear anything about Memphis, Tennessee? Because that's where I thought that he was going to be going next. But this is the other gentleman as well, because these particular cases right here we have to pay attention to. This one is, I'm showing you, these are the unalivings, okay, that they are kind of bringing together and bringing to him. Because I was talking to my mind, I was like, yo, how did they go file something on a Saturday? Like, what? They didn't even get the paperwork together. But they already using these pending cases and just adding it on addition. That's why they have filed the motion to preserve evidence for the other particular case that involves Alex. Does that make sense? So that they're getting tied together. Okay, because they're going after the feds. The feds over here acting crazy. So community demand accountability for visual. Now, this is the second one that people try to not pay attention to, but was very important. I think you guys should have paid attention to, especially to my people who be out there in the rural areas. Stop playing with me, because I cater to the rural areas. I love my people out there, even though I got on some people. I had got on y'all. But I love y'all. I cater to the people in the rural areas. And a lot of you guys have the same practices as people in the Caribbean islands and things like that. And I'm bringing this up because this particular gentleman, he bust shots in the air for New Year's. And it escalated into a whole nother situation. And we're talking about Mr. Keith. I think his name is Mr. Keith Porter. Okay. So this was actually the first gun carrying situation where they were unalived by an off-duty ICE agent. So this particular case right here is also creating the precedent and tone of how they would address people who had open carry gun license. Because at no point in this story that's being suppressed, they said that Mr. Keith was not a gun carrier. Because they would have said it because he black. Oh man, they would have. Man, if he was a drug dealer, or whatever he did in his past would have been coming up. And they had nothing to say about this guy. That's why I think I really know he was a good person. Because they even try to pull something up on Miss Good. This guy must have had nothing in his background. Let's watch this real quick. This is the first one with the gun.
ICE agent on New Year's Eve. Authorities say the agent opened fire when that man pointed a rifle at him. Tonight, activists are demanding answers and justice. Friends say Keith Porter was celebrating New Year's Eve when he was shot and killed.
It looks like he may have been celebrating with a gun. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Pullian spoke with friends and family attending a vigil tonight. They're now looking for answers. We're here on Family Story Avenue, close to where Keith Porter was gunned down by that off-duty ICE agent. This memorial is here for family, friends to mourn.
No investigation into this at all.
Meant to uplift, only lowered the mood as this crowd grieves the death of a 43-year-old father of two. Keith Porter was shot and
This blood right here, all of this blood is on mega hands. I'm just being honest. The blood is on your hands. Y'all guys be cheering in the crowd for ICE. I told y'all over here bell worshiping, doing human sacrifice. All this blood is on your hand, guys. But this particular situation, I think people should really look into it. One, because the ICE officer was off duty. There's a lot of holes in this particular case where allegedly the ICE officer came down with his gun already because he heard shots bust in the air. He allegedly walked around the corner and they end up exchanging gunfire. Now, then you hear the story change a little bit where he says he walked around the corner and identified himself at the same time, and then they started exchanging gunfire, which I don't believe is the truth, especially because the guy did not have his uniform or nothing. They said after he shot Mr. Keith, he went back into his apartment, put his ICE vest on, and came down saying, oh, because people were upset what was going on, I had to protect myself, or this, that, and the third. So that's actually where he had his identifying information on. So there's a lot of, practicalities to this particular case that I think people need to pay attention to, because it also highlights officers not identifying themselves, how they conduct themselves off duty. He was supposed to call the cops. He's not supposed to interact with us as United States citizens in a manner that's not dealing with immigration. He's not a real police. They're not that type of police. Does that make sense? So I have to highlight this because he was a gun carrier. And even if he shot in the air recklessly, which would have been a ticket, if they would have called the police, highlighting that people in the area knew who he was. Again, the same thing with Miss Good. Miss Good. All they had to do, whatever y'all thought she was doing wrong, was giving her a ticket. But y'all done told her to move. And that's what exactly happened to Miss Good. They told her to move and ended up killing her. So I just want you guys to kind of know some of the aspects of these killings and how important it is. Because when we go into the cases that's coming up related to gun laws and things like that, you're going to see how they intertwine when they start to, try to use lawsuits. Get lawsuits against particular entities. People are going to sue the Fed. People are going to try to bring something against the feds, period. Point blank, period. Y'all already know. It's going to be regular citizens, not only the cities. Okay, so that's what happened to Mr. Porter. This was something that people had disregarded because he was black, but he actually was one of the first people who got gunned down with the gun in his hand. Okay, so let's get to this next one. The Department of Justice said Monday that it has charged Louis David Nano Mandaka, and one of the two who was shot by Border Patrol. Now, this is another situation. Now, this gonna deal with basically, they said these people, and y'all haven't heard about these. These people got shot in the arm during a traffic stop, and they end up leaving, and then called the cops on the Border Patrol, or I think it was the Border Patrol, and they tried to say these people were Tren de Agua. They try to say these people were Tren de Agua, okay? And come to find out that they not Tren de Agua, because these are the people that they're talking about. And they're not using it. That's just why I'm trying to bring this to your attention, because they're putting, how can I say, these fake stories together to run a storyline and have the Trumpsters and the race baiters come in and go under the comments and start pushing these narratives. And then when it gets to court and they end up losing the court cases, they just get swept under the rug. And the basic American people think that this story is still good, still think that these people right here are Tren de Agua. Like, yeah, Trump did get somebody from Tren de Agua. No, these people are not Tren de Agua. So in this particular case where this lady got shot in the arm and whatever that may be the situation, she's actually pled guilty to entering the United States illegally. They did not say that she was part of Tren de Agua at all. This is again showing a lie, another narrative just being pushed by administration. And I don't want you guys to hear this story and say, oh, they deported another illegal criminal alien or Tren de Agua, because they never proved she was Tren de Agua. And basically, she's going to be deported before her hearing, because they're trying to go after them for excessive force. This is part of the excessive force case as well. This case this gets a little bit big. So on Thursday, federal judge Zambro Castro, in the case of Louis David Nano Mandaka of Venezuela national. Okay. All right. Why is this not big? The U.S. Department of let's get to it. Hold on one second, because I'm going to try to get down to it. Basically, they said the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, they targeted the man in they were targeting his passenger. You remember that? They were targeting his passenger and they end up shooting the driver. And they both were united. They said they were in the United States illegally and part of a prostitution ring. DH said that the agent fired in self-defense when Nino weaponized his vehicle and tried to run him over. Again, this is the loss for me. This is the truck. And he's fighting. The guy Nino is fighting, okay? And he never pleaded to come into the country illegal. This is what I want you guys to highlight, that these cases are all being put together and they're going after the Fed. So according to the plea agreement, Zimbabwe, this is the lady. It says United States into the United States illegally September 16, 2023 from Mexico into the United States to Mexico to Texas and crossed the border. It says she was released because there wasn't enough space in the detention facility. The news organization also reported that she failed to show up to the U.S. Immigration and Enforcement Office in Portland as ordered after they were both wounded by the Border Patrol agent. This is what they're saying. Nino drove 2 or 3 miles to her apartment complex. This is the story in North Portland where he called 911. So he called 911 on them because he was legal. So during the court appearance on January 14th that just took place, Nino Masada, that's the girl, that's him. Nino is the boy. I do apologize. Pled not guilty to the allegations he tried to run over the Border Patrol. A judge later denied his request to be freed on bail. DHS alleges that Nino illegally entered the United States in 2022. The Trump administration alleges that the two have tried to transitionally organize Tren de Agua, known as TDA. So we're going to keep our eye on this because, again, he has Maduro locked up. So this case should be really big, and this should be helping him prove that they allegedly are arresting Tren de Agua, people. But again, I don't think it's going to prove that. She came in illegally or whatever, and she pled guilty to that, and they said that they may deport her before this actual case. But this case in itself was actually supposed to be part of the excessive force case as well. They're trying to pull all these things together. So the other gentleman, he's still in here, and we're going to see what's going on with him. So that was an update on someone else who was shot, and I want you guys to see how everything is connected and make it make sense. And then we're going to get to Mr. Divino and his lying self. So just watch this real quick, her court appearance.
Contreras appeared by video before a federal judge in Portland. The 32-year-old is one of 2 people shot by a U.S. Border Patrol agent last week after allegedly ramming their truck into the officer's unoccupied vehicle. According to court records, federal agents conducting targeted enforcement spotted the driver, Luis Nino Moncada, and his passenger, Zambrano Contreras, in southeast Portland. 6 federal agents in 4 unmarked vehicles made a traffic stop in the parking lot of an Adventist Health medical office.
Wait, were they involved in a prostitution ring? Or this was a random traffic stop? Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I know they be lying.
Agents say Nino Moncada appeared anxious and visibly moving, and after officers identified themselves, he repeatedly rammed the rented federal vehicle. A Border Patrol agent fired 2 shots. Nino Moncada drove off and called 911 for help.
We're saying that he was shot twice by ICE, and his wife was shot as well.
Nino Moncada shot me on. Zambrano Contreras.
Wait a minute. Guys, did y'all hear the first article that I read to y'all, literally calling her a prostitute? And she was the target because she was illegal. I think once they found out that her status was illegal, they constructed the story. What the hell? This was his wife. Yeah, he got away, got home, and called the police or the Border Patrol. Come on. This what we dealing with, y'all? You know he's an American citizen. Y'all know he was.
She's being held at the Northwest Detention
He
Center
was released.
in Tacoma. Reporter Sharon Yu from our Seattle station spoke with Zambrano Contreras earlier this week.
She told me that she was doing okay. She showed me her gunshot wounds. There was 1 wound to her left chest and 3 under her right chest.
Zambrano Contreras is being held on a criminal complaint out of Texas, where prosecutors say she illegally entered the U.S. in 2023.
Wait, what about the prostitution ring for Tren de Agua? What happened to the prostitution ring?
Both federal officials and local police have linked Zambrano Contreras to a recent shooting in Portland and prostitution ring run by the Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua.
Well, let's see. For now. Let's see. Why haven't these been charged? Where is the racketeering? Where is the other information about the people? Okay? Why just try to get charges on her for entering the country illegal and just hold her? Why not first charge them with all of the crimes that they did, have them serve time here, then deport them what they really regularly do? I'm just gonna keep it real. I know the situation. My cousins was deported from Brooklyn. I'm just gonna be honest. They was Zoles. And they did a lot of stuff when I was a baby, I heard. And allegedly about 5 of my cousins did their time here and then was deported. But they came, some of them was illegal, some of them were legal. Okay, and I'm just keeping it real on that side. And guess what? So I bet you they deport her first so she won't be here to testify anything and she's going to get lost in the system. Now, the reason why I brought that up, because that was part of the excessive force cases. They're bringing this stuff together. Does that make sense? So now we have her going, the wife, or about to be going, and you have the husband who was released. But they were part of this big old sex trafficking thing. Now let's just get to this, reminding people how much of Bovino is a lying dog. Border Patrol, yes, a lying dog, just like my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ said, you ain't nothing but a dog. Okay, Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino admits he lied about firing tear gas, tackling protesters, and protesters in the federal case. So this is the federal judge. So we're not going to watch this because we did do a reaction on late night to this, and I got so frustrated because he literally was just being disrespectful, cocky, lying at the same time, and arrogant. It was just too much. I mean, just too much for me. So we're not going to watch that. So the Border Patrol Chief, Gregory Bovino, who led a series of increasingly aggressive raids across Chicago in the suburb, lied about firing tear gas at protesters in Little Village and tackling a man outside of the Broadway ICE facility that was caught on camera. I just add that. The federal judge said Thursday. Okay, that's why these judges, when we get to the actual outcome of the case, the excessive force case, you're going to hear that that judge, there's conflicting stories about her. There's conflicting stories about her judgment and how fast it went because I'm going to tell you guys, witness intimidation. I'm getting a little bit beyond myself, but this is where Bovino was lying right in front of us. U.S. District Court Judge Shara Elise. I know y'all want to look. Y'all want to look at my beautiful stuff. I love you guys. Shara Elise is the second federal judge in the North District of Illinois to find the federal agent have presented unreliable testimony about their actions and these actions of the Chicagoans in response to President Donald Trump mass deportation, lying on the protesters. That's what and escalating things. So speaking from the bench, from her courtroom, um, about a 90-minute dissertation, at least singled out the conduct of Bovino, who bashed social media presence and frequent appearance in the media, have come to define what the Trump administration calls Operation Midlands. Bovino fired at least 2 canisters of tear gas at the crowd in Little Village on October 23rd during a confrontation, sparking by agents' decision to detain a man at the bus stop near the 26th in the Whippleton Street, prompting the crowd of angry residents to flock to the scene. So that's what it was. Another arrest. People came to record it like they can. But basically what ended up happening here, I think this was the one too that followed up with the people who were outside the ICE facility where he hit the pastor in the daggone head, because they even talked about this. But here he basically said that the protesters right here, defendant Bovino admit he lied about whether a rock hit him before he deployed the tear gas in Little Village. Lee said. This was the judge. So I just wanted to get to that. He admitted that he's a whole bold-faced lying dog. And we got Mega that likes this neo-Nazi. He literally dressed like a neo-Nazi and everything. What the hell y'all got going on? Okay, so let's just watch this because now we're going to talk about the federal case that actually kind of emboldened or is going to continue to embolden ICE, Border Patrol, and everybody else who want to kick our ass or shoot us because the excessive force case has now been dropped. Okay, it's been dropped. They didn't win. It's been dropped.
In federal court. Well, the judge just dismissed that case. That was at the request of the plaintiffs that asked for it in the first place. We're talking about Judge Sarah Ellis, who originally issued rules surrounding officers' use of force during Operation Midway Blitz. That's immigration enforcement that was happening in the city of Chicago. The reason why the people who were waging this lawsuit asked for it to be dismissed, they say, is because immigration enforcement isn't.
So stop saying dismissed. Say dropped. Say dropped.
Happening at the same level that it was in the Chicago area as it was when they filed the case in the first place. Now, there are still questions on whether or not the rules that Judge Ellis set still apply.
Now, I want you to listen because we're going to get into the contradictions and basically the stories that we're listening to, because it was not dropped, dismissed because there was no findings. It was because this witness, allegedly witness intimidation, when we read the articles, has said, hey, ICE is not out here out on the south side, so I'm just going to leave it alone right now. We're just going to kind of like, and this is a little bit weird. We're going to get to it. This is a little bit. This is witness intimidation. Let's watch this about, we're going to continue to listen to what they got to say about this.
37-year-old Juan Espinoza Martinez not guilty.
Oh, this is the other one. This is the other one. Hold on. This is the other case. Hold on. We got one more case. They tried to go after a Venezuelan man and said he was murder for hire. Let's move that out the way. That's another case that I wanted to show you, because this is where ICE is making up stuff, using up the courts. And guess what? The courts are seeing through that. That's another case. Hold on one second, guys. I had to pull this all up so you guys can see what's going on. I got this word, man.
Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino, $10,000 for the murder and $2,000 for information, according to the Northern District.
This is part of that one, too. Hold on one second, y'all. I thought I had page 2 together. That's part of that one, too. Let's just get to the judge, because this is where I have the mixed information. So here it goes right here. Capital News in Illinois. It said judge hesitate to grant dismissal of lawsuit over immigration agent use of force tactics in Chicago. So the question is, right here they're saying, because the other one's like dismiss, but it says the judge is hesitating. Why did the judge hesitate? Let's listen, or let me read it to you guys. So in this article, a brief summary, the Chicago federal judge on Thursday declined to immediately grant the motion by the protester who's suing the Trump administration over immigration agents' use of force tactic that falls after an appeal court said her order restraint against the ability to use riot control weapons like tear gas. So because of her, it didn't sound right coming out. The judge ordered a restraining order against Bovino from using the tear gas. That's why I think Bovino left, because he was restrained a little bit. And then he found his way back a little bit because I was like, what the hell are you doing back on the south side, the border patrol? I think because they were intimidating her. So let's just get to this, okay? Could y'all see these words? Could y'all see it? Look all blurry. Give me a second. All right, so the district judge, Sarah Ellis, expressed worry over the administration plans future targeting Chicago, citing Wednesday fatal shooting by the ICE agent in Minneapolis. So the judge is like, wait, ma'am, you want to think this over? It says, though she said she couldn't force the plaintiff to litigate a case they didn't want to litigate, the judge said that she had the responsibility to class the case basically as dismissed, but it is not with prejudice. So basically, she can come back. So the federal judge on Thursday registered worried over this week's fatal shooting in Minneapolis by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent. And she asked for more time in deciding whether to dismiss a lawsuit over the federal agent's use. Okay, this is from Illinois in itself. Now, it's not another state, so I know this is good information because they be in the courtroom. So, okay, this is where it's coming from. I'll put this article under there. Just before the Trump administration Operation Midway Bliss abruptly wound down its Chicago area immigration enforcement campaign in November, and they abruptly left, U.S. District Judge Sarah issued a preliminary injunction that identified restrictions against the agent. That's why they left. Their ability to use the force included riot control weapons like tear gas. But after the Chicago-based 7th Circuit of the Appeal stayed Miss Elise ruling 2 weeks later, plaintiff filed a motion to voluntarily dismiss the case. We had the ball in our court as people. So I'm saying to myself, why would this young lady want to now stop this case? Okay, so now, but during the hearing Thursday, Miss Elise expressed some skepticism about the wisdom of this maneuver. This is the judge. This is the judge. Some of them got our back, y'all. So the judge cited Wednesday fatal shooting of motorist Renee Good. So this was about Renee Good by the ICE agents in Minneapolis. And it doesn't give me much comfort in reading news reports that someone who in some news report always was described as a legal observer was shot yesterday in Minneapolis. This is Miss Ellis said. So this is my concern because you have to understand that these courts are connected. I don't care where she's at. If she's in Chicago, this creates precedent. So especially when you're taking a court to the federal level, they can pull all types of cases from the state and federal president to help them fight the case. That's why it's so good for and important for many different states and people who have been subjected to the excessive force of ICE Border Patrol to actually take it to litigation. And this is why this judge is hesitating like this, because she's like, yo, this is part of how we're going to bring this to him. So the question is, why did the lady change her mind? Wednesday shooting echoes case of Miss Martinez. This is Miss Martinez. I kept telling you, keep your eye on her, because she got shot up all in the chest. That was the one that made it to the auto dealer or the body mechanic shop, and they helped her. And I was like, this is so weird. And they said that she tried to ram into them, and they said that she had a gun. None of that came back up again. They lied on her again. So at several times over the course of the litigation in that the rioters had controlled weapons cases, it has failed. Elias noticed that her briefing that the Trump administration, especially the U.S. Customs Border Commander Bovino, has lied, okay, about the tone and the tenor of the protesters at these immigration protests, okay, and justify the actions of immigration enforcement actions against the demonstrators. This is what the judge is saying. So even though I'm complaining about Democrats, Republicans, people really not doing stuff, we do got some people who are still honorable. So this was what I wanted to give you a heads up about, that the case was dismissed. And the judge is like, I got to go read the case because it says right here in the same day, judge won't yet dismiss lawsuit over use of force during Midway Bliss sighting. So I don't know if this was like a build-up, and then you get the other article where it says that judge grants voluntary dismissal of the lawsuit. You see how this one told the truth. Voluntary dismissal. So it was a voluntary dismissal. They did not win the case. I do believe that the lady was intimidated based on what she said. She said, oh, well, not too much is going on right now in Chicago, so I think I may just leave it alone. But you want to hear that it's a consistent pattern said by these ICE agents where, listen, you ain't learned by now? You ain't learned by now? Just get down or lay down. And what I've read, and I'm gonna leave this in an article. I think it was a CBS article where basically the lady, as a tone of her basically saying that she don't want any more trouble. What does that mean? Witness intimidation. I'm going to put those 3 articles down there for you because this was the most important. Next to, actually, don't forget, Case versus Montana, the case that already decided that they can come into your house right now without a warrant, gun holders. And then the next one is the case with Woodford versus Lopez, where they're trying to determine if you need an exclusive, maybe handwritten permission to have guns in someone else's house, private property. Okay? All right. So I think we got one more thing to show you today. We're at 58 minutes. I'm not going to go over an hour today. I want to say thank you so much for being with us this morning. Please hit the like button. I see some of you have, and I appreciate you. It is getting us in the algorithm. As well as I want to send a shout out to the people who could really handle this content. I know I'm heavy. I'm heavy, and I put a lot of information out, and that's why I just try to keep it for 1 hour. But this is for certain people who can see the pieces to the puzzles and actually really want to prepare on and survive this shit. Okay. If y'all don't know, because I haven't stated in a while, I'm not a Democrat, Republican, or liberal, all this BS. I'm actually a separatist. I created my own category, and that's separating for the bullshit. honestly, and staying on the side of God. That's it. That's all it is. Just waiting for a word. Somebody was like in the beginning of this, I'm gonna get to your comments. Somebody in the beginning, because there's so many comments, but they did say, I'm leaving America. Now, listen, if the Lord say leave America, go start somewhere else, do what you have to do. I'm just gonna tell you guys, don't be too attached to what's here or anywhere, because everything is fickle, especially when we're not in control of what's going on right now, and they have so much contingency going on with other nations. If some say pick up and go, bitch, go. Okay. So let me just get to some of y'all comments. We got Ice Ice Baby. Thank you to the trolls who I had to time out. Let's see. I want to read some of these first before I read it out loud, because some of you guys say anything. Shout out to Holly Favorite in here. You know, getting people in order. Love you, mom. Love you. We are all entitled to our own opinion. However, keep your misinformation judgment to yourself. You had to get them. Okay, let's move on. I love you. I love you. All right. Immigration is a basic number in economy access. Yeah, and that's what it was at first. That's how they built the economy of the United States. That's why I said all of these mega supporters are like, this is a white man's land. And no, it ain't. You don't even belong here. Native Americans was here first and foremost. But let's just move on. After that, basically, rejects came from the UK to come over here and be terrorists. Okay, and then y'all opened the border when y'all took over the land to different nations that was going to help you. And I said this before, that was going to help you build up this economy, whatever skills and trade they can do. That's why this was like the midway point for trading across the world. Like people did, this was what America was about until we became beastly. Bell worshiping. And I think it always been there. Meaning money hungry, political giants that thought that we can control the whole world. And now we're actually being devoured from the inside. And I'm saying we as the United States, because we're here. That's what it is. If it tell you to move, just move. Okay. At the end of the day, this country is based on migration. This is what it was and always been. That's why I said this is stupid as all hell, because they're going to be deporting every fucking body, because white is not a nation. Black is not a nation. I'm gonna tell you that again. Once you find out your heritage and who you are, like German, Irish, Portugal, we got Jamaican, Haitian, we got all types of Caribbean islands and people, whatever. That's your nationality. That is who you are. Okay. And if Trump say the Germans got to get out, you gonna get the fuck out. You gonna get out. And then we're still being scooped all in this. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. White people there expanding this, and I knew they was gonna expand it to you guys, but I didn't know it was gonna be like just killing. I didn't know that they were so vicious that y'all would turn on each other. It is a race thing, because y'all the one that run this system. It really shocks me, even as a Black American, to watch what's going on. I'm like, damn, they don't even care about their own. Mega, you need to realize this. That's why it is beyond color. After we start talking about really what's going on, it's like, who's going to survive this? For real, for real. Let's go. All right. It says you looking around. That's because I be thinking. Did he shoot a gun in the air for the New Year celebration? Yes, he did, Hugh. He shot it for New Year celebration. If you're talking about Mr. Keith. So we're going to be talking more about that situation, because the family is pushing for investigation. So they're putting the pressure on actually the police. And I think that they should go straight to the feds and whoever else dealing with these cases. But, let's see how it works out. I'm just being honest. I love my Black people. You know how they treat us. You know it. So I hope they get the help that they actually need, and they take his case seriously, because that also plays a major role in investigating police, as well as the right to identify yourself and the right to carry. He should have just got a ticket. Moving down, it says we do pay for them. That's what the whole thing in Minnesota is about. What do you pay for? This is not Spariva playlist 1771. I'm kind of just going through some of y'all comments because I missed it. I've been going in, but I know you guys have been updated on these major cases that we've been talking about. And I think I will pray that this lady actually comes back and refile this case. Hopefully someone talks to her so she can see how horrendous this is. And if she knew that state law plays a major role in federal law and Supreme Court, she'll know how important her case is. and how many people are pushing for Miss Martinez. She got 6 times. They're going off her out there in Chicago. I mean, that area. I'm just being honest. That area out there, I was just out there reporting on the South Side. They corrupt as all hell. They corrupt. It was mad FBI investigations out there about the corruption of just administrations out there. So she has to be careful. And that's probably why she's afraid, because they do that out there. Administration, like what's going on in Harvey. I'll talk to my subscribers about that. I'm investigating. But the Harvey, at one point, the residents that's out there on the South Side, they can't even talk. They couldn't even vote. It was just terrible because the administration was sending people to intimidate the actual residents. So I'm thinking something similar happened to Miss Martinez because that's their tactics out there. That's why I'm streaming from my phone right now. They literally did AI warfare on me and gang stalking. It's not a joke. Go look at my other content. I did all of this, like stories about the mayor out there, corruption. Now let's just get to the end of this right quick, because this is a case that they lost. And again, I wanted to show you this because it's under the radar. And this is again Bavino lying, dirty dog, saying that somebody tried to shoot him, somebody tried to kill him, and this is, he looked like he a Spanish guy. He won this damn case. He won. So we do get a win because we don't let Bavino make up lies. So this was the last one I wanted to show you that I told you I was out of order.
Joseph Martinez, a Latin Kings gang member, offered a bounty on U.S.
Allegedly. So he was part of Latin Kings, allegedly. You see how they have these narratives? Again, we have to have discernment that what the first thing we hear, we don't run with. We don't react to. This is what we're doing here. This is why I hold these lives, so we can have emotional intelligence. This is what they said first.
Bavino, $10,000 for the murder and $2,000 for information, according to the Northern District U.S. Attorney's Office. The I-team in federal court today as Juan Espinosa Martinez made his first appearance after he was arrested Tuesday in Burr Ridge by a cadre of federal law enforcement, including DEA, ATF, Homeland Security Investigations, FBI, and Border Patrol officers. The 37-year-old.
Look, they made that that was a whole photo shoot. You saw all them lined up. They show all. You see, this is literally for publicity. This is you saw that shit? Y'all saw it.
Street named Monkey is accused of offering a bounty of $10,000 to members of the Chicago Latin Kings street gang to kill Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bavino, according to the complaint. Bavino has been front and center in multiple Chicago immigration enforcement operations over the last several weeks of Operation Midway Blitz.
The street gang is a formidable organization. We know that. We know how much mayhem they can cause, but they're really no match for the power of the federal government if there's evidence against them.
Homeland Security Investigation Chicago says it received a screenshot of a Snapchat conversation seen here from a confidential source with a photo of Bavino and the bounties for murder and information, with the letters LK appearing to link the message to the Latin King street gang in the city. ABC 7 chief legal analyst Gil Sofer says for federal prosecutors...
You know anybody could do that? You know anybody can make that up? I used to watch these gossip shows. They used to make up texts with each other, arguing and shit, and then make up evidence and show the people like, this what they look. You know it's apps that create this right here?
This case, they have to prove the facts and intent of those messages.
The complaint alleges that he was not only a member of the Latin Kings, but that he was directing the solicitation to other members of the Latin Kings.
After Customs and Border Protection officers opened fire on a woman over the weekend, Espinosa Martinez also instructed members of the Latin Kings gang to bring guns and deploy gang members in response, according to the filing.
You got gang members that are doing drive-bys on the weekends for free, so offer $10,000 and you might actually get one of these knuckleheads that would take them.
I'm sorry, that was funny. Shut up, y'all.
Retired CPD Lieutenant John Garrido spent more than 3 decades with the Chicago Police Department and says when it comes to the feds, Chicago's street gangs don't know what they're up against.
You're dealing with
all of this talk, this long broadcast that we listening to, they don't know what they're up against and da-da-da-da. Let's listen.
A different type of law enforcement now. The rules of engagement are different. The penalties are different. The federal laws are a lot tougher than our local laws are.
Jason said, I don't know what to believe. That's why we watch it. That's why we watch different clips and we just kind of make sense of it. And you go pray. Go pray. Ask God to give you discernment. That's what I do. I be like, listen, I'm confused, God. I'm going to bed. What we going to do? And I get up and I have some clarity. I'm just keeping it real because this is what they want us to be in confusion, chaos, fear, anger, bitterness. Yeah, this is what they're sucking our energy. These energy vampires, and that's why we're doing this because we're basically mutating the energy with broadcasts like this that talk logical, talks from a real legal perspective. You hear me talking from my heart, like I care for people. I don't give a damn if I curse you out right now. I know people put people on timeout, and they said the most reckless stuff. I could just block most of y'all. Okay, but no, come back because I feel like one day you're gonna watch and your heart is gonna open up. So don't stress too much, baby. Just stay in your lane, use the power of separation, and focus on your family. Okay. Now this is really long-winded. Let's move on because they just had us like, oh my God, they're trying to kill ICE and WWG. This is the damn outcome of it. The lies for me. Let's go.
Federal prosecutors claim that Martinez offered $10,000 for someone to kill Bobino. This is the message they used in that case. The jury deliberated for just under an hour, or rather under 4 hours, before reaching a not guilty verdict. This was the first criminal case stemming from Operation Midway Blitz here in Chicago.
Do you hear that? This is the first one. So this guy, this right here is the lies for me. I hope you guys knew about this story, but they lost. After all that long-winded what we heard, yeah, they don't know who they messing with. They got a text, they got this. Let's see what happens.
Go to trial. That jury found 37-year-old Juan Espinoza Martinez not guilty of murder for hire. Federal prosecutors claim that Martinez offered $10,000 for someone to kill Bobino. This is the message they used in that case. The jury deliberated for just under an hour, or rather under 4 hours, before reaching a not guilty verdict. This was the first criminal case stemming from Operation Midway Blitz here in Chicago to go to trial.
All right, so that was an update of that particular case. Again, Bovino is a damn liar, and that's why I agree with the lady at the beginning of the video said, no, this is him. He needs to be fired and also locked up, as well as Christy Nome. I'm looking down to the left because I can't stand them, and Pam Bundy. All of them just need to go to jail. But we're going to be talking about Christy Nome and Pam Bundy. I'm going to hone in on these ladies in red, see what we can find out about them. I don't know what we're going to do related to them, but we will. Now, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I'm going to be coming back one more time this week, probably twice. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting in a little bit more immigration talk. You guys, if you don't know, I'm doing a deep dive called 10 Kings, the 10 Kings theory. Basically, Trump and a lot of how can I say, country leaders are playing this game of absorbing other countries and condensing our world in a manner that we're going to be playing Hunger Games and we're going to be slaves. The 10 Kings theory, the 10 toes. So I already started talking about it from a biblical perspective, historical perspective. We started breaking down the relationships between Israel and Palestine, the historical, biblical, a little bit, just a little bit. We went into what's the issue with Ukraine and Russia. We went into the historical factors with that, letting you know that they're cousins. And we're highlighting who is going to be left as the 10 kings if this is what's going on. So tomorrow, what we're going to be talking about in the morning is China. I be getting in trouble. My last live out there, hardly nobody showed up. But I'm going to keep talking about it because we do have an immigration issue that happened with Chinese nationals who had this very intrinsic, high, how can I say, just highly organized path of getting into America. It includes hotels, cars, boats, trains, swimming in the swamp. Shut up, y'all. But all I know that it was orchestrated so beautifully that they came in, was able to start businesses and all types of stuff. Now, if you don't know, I'm going to look to see what's the status, but there was a Chinese national who was apprehended. Okay. And you had, what is her, oh my goodness, I had her name. She's the one that allegedly tried to kill her husband twice, the Democrat. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Oh, it's right at the tip of my tongue. She came out talking up for that particular situation, saying that it wasn't a political move. I think he's some type of athlete, that they locked him up for no reason and they're going to work on it. She came out ASAP. Y'all know who I'm talking about? The one who tried to kill her husband. Hey, baby Bubba. How you doing? Welcome. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Her husband got cracked in the head twice. He got Alzheimer's. She left him by himself so many times. And I think she tried to set him up for her. and she's supposed to be retired, that Democrat lady. Watch when I get off the phone is going to come to me. So basically, what we're going to highlight tomorrow is how the Chinese system worked, why Trump is not going after them, why is he trying to build a rapport with the Chinese president, kissing his ass. Go look at my last live where I broke down everything that was going on with China oil, not their reserve, but their transportation of oil and how it's connected to Venezuela. So I need you guys to go and pay attention to that 10 Kings what is going to be series. And tomorrow we're going to be doing another part of it. But it directly ties into immigration, China, and I'll finish off with giving y'all more information about how China hijacked Christianity as well. I'll give y'all more information about that because I kind of closed off the last live with that. Y'all was like, what? So I hope y'all watch or listen to the audio book about Jesus' missing year that was allegedly told by someone who was non-religious, highlighting that Jesus was in China and he was acting like Jesus. And I think China has some hold over Christianity. And this is going to be another way that they're going to start to get you guys, or continue to get you guys riled up. Because I did hear allegedly North Korea is being accused of attacking Chinese. Now, I know I said a lot, but that's just getting y'all ready for tomorrow. Okay? So I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Please hit the like button if you don't know who I am. My name is Miss Grace, and guess who walks with us every day, all day? Hit the like button. Hit the like. Y'all see me in the background? Who walks with us, y'all? Let's go. Thank you for the snap. Thank you for the 199. I didn't get to see it in the chat. Let's go.